caught by the car and the fire.
By the fire.
Yeah.
So how many cars did you see?
A lot, quite a lot.
How about the people? Did they escape? Did they run? Or
they weren't
caught?
able because it was an explosion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you mean
so
people,
most of the students are in a great confusion right now as to what to do right now.
Which hostel were you in?
James Top Yaka Nelson Hall.
How many stories are that?
I think about 3.
About 3.
Yeah.
And you are on the last floor?
Second floor.
How about people on the last floor? What happened to them?
They had to run. Some had to find their way throughout.
Did you see people jumping from the building?
Yeah, sure. People were jumping.
So how did you escape?
I was actually, when I heard the explosion, I was frightened because the explosions were just coming like that. So we had to run out of the hall. So when I got out, I saw a car which was fortunate to break the electronic gate. That means he had a card. So I jumped inside
into the bucket,
and then he brought me.
How many people joined you?
About 1,000, I must say, because people from Ivandi, Pent Hall, and others also joined, as they heard the explosion from their various backgrounds.
Did you actually see the fireball?
Yeah, I actually saw it, and then it made the atmosphere very. It seemed as if it was a daylight.
It illuminated the place.
Yeah.
What color did you see?
It was yellowish orange.
Wow. And so how about some of the students? Do you remember any of your colleagues also
I remember,
getting away from the scene?
Yeah, sure. There were quite a lot because today being a Saturday is not a lecture day that most people go for lectures. So most students are in their halls cooking or washing or doing personal.
What time was that?
I think about an hour ago.
About an hour ago. And there's some of your colleagues, do you know them by name?
Yeah, I know some of my colleagues by name.
And you saw them escaping?
Yeah.
But the people who were caught in the cars, in the vehicle by the explosion, you don't
they
seem
weren't
to know
able
them.
to move in the cars because it was a traffic actually that happened there.
Yes.
So what we saw that was that one fire service came around when we were escaping. Yeah, and then most cars were trying to invade into the university, but because of the electronic gate, they weren't able to have a free passage.
So the owners had to
turn
jump
back,
out of the car, turn back, or
those
run
who
and leave
didn't,
their cars.
those who were ignorant and they didn't know about the fire outbreak and they were coming from Hartwell side were rather in a hurry to go to where the fire was. So actually,
so sorry about that. So what was the speed of the fire you saw? Was it approaching gradual, or it was just
it was
boom,
very
just
exclusive.
instantaneous?
Yeah,
it was instantaneous.
Yeah, very, very instantaneous.
Duncan, if you're my brother, I would have prepared some egg for you to eat this evening. It's not easy to escape from this guy. But you are going to be with us, so I'll get back to you. Let's speak to our own reporter, Komla Kluche. Komla Kluche is on Skype right now, and he is at Atomic Junction, and we'll be speaking to him at a moment. Komla, if you can hear me. Good evening, Komla.
Hello, Isa. Well, I can hear you. Well, you can see the billowing fire from the gas tanker. Firemen so trying very hard to put the fire under control. It's been strenuously very, very difficult for them. They've been trying very, very, very hard to put it out. They did about 3 times. The fire had to explode again. You can see it all the way. I can count about 3 fire tenders here. The information I have gathered from some of the eyewitnesses, most especially the guys on the filling station attendant, is that the gas tanker, which in your shot is in the flames, was discharging fuel, and there was a leakage that sparked all through to an adjoining shop. Somebody was selling what we call in the local parlance as suya, had spread towards the side, but because it was a naked fire, that caused that explosion. Now, this is an unverified account. It is not an official account yet. The fire service is yet to put an official statement out. But as I speak to you, people or security personnel, a combined one from the military, the Ghana National Fire Service, the National Disaster Management Organization, are all here trying their best to put out the fire. Like I did say early on, it's been very, very hectic, a very Herculean task. The explosion was so difficult. It was so hefty to the sense that people far away in Dome, some in Agboba and others, had these explosions. People run for their lives. But the most important thing now is that the fire has been put under control.
Right.
The firemen have been working very, very hard to ensure that the fire is brought under control. Despite the fact that it's been a rainy evening, it's been raining very, very difficultly. And you can see just from the shots there. I'm trying to get a bit closer, quite cautious though. You can see that this is how it is. They are joining shops. You can see the filling station there, the total filling station completely destroyed. A number of vehicles have also been destroyed though. And what I gather is that as it stands now, there is no official casualty yet. There is no record of an official casualty yet. You can understand they will not put any official statement out. They will not say anything as it stands until they have been able to put the fire out totally. They are trying strenuously to do so, but it continues to receive a lot of explosions. Mind you, this is a fresh intake that has just come to the area,
Right.
so it contains a lot of liquefied petroleum gas. Abu Isamoni.
Yeah, Komla, you spoke about the rain setting in. Of course, that will bring in some measure of control. You've also talked about some vehicles that were caught in the fire. Did you see any human beings in those vehicles? And what is the nature of security at the place at the moment?
Very, very hectic. The security is so tight, I can assure you. The military, they are here in their numbers. Now, in terms of the casualties, I did state early on is that I have not seen anybody, and I've been trying to speak to my sources here at NADMO. They say that, well, they are not going to say anything now because they are still assessing the situation. The fire has not been brought under control totally yet, so they are unable to put any figure as to whether there's been casualties or not. But the eyewitness who I'm trying to get this gentleman. There's this gentleman here who works. I'm just trying to. Let me just go close to him and see. He spoke to me as an eyewitness, though. He works at the total here. See, what's up, let me just. He's gonna speak to you and see. Just look straight into the car. Unfortunately, there's a bit of darkness, but again, it's here.
But then it's in there, and gas from who is charging for. And the more rubber is charging for it will be. You smoke like more. You don't want me and fight so much to win better. In a general way, smoke from one to a riding. Smoking up to road. Now, but you know, to number on a new way. Nijana, smoking, and then get about give me a pound so. Anyway, no more station inside the door with charge for. Wasn't it? Gas in about. Again, the phone when I said,
Okay, what he's been saying ostensibly is that when the vehicle had come in and was discharging fuel, the tanker was discharging fuel, they realized there was some leakage which sparked close to the gentleman who was selling the suya or the meat. Because of the naked fire that was exposed there, it spread across, and there was that explosion. But fortunately enough, he's saying that they were able to leave the scene. He is a fuel station attendant just right at the total filling station where the incident occurred. So, he has a lot of insight as to what happened. Now, but maybe some of you, Nipa saying any prayer, Nipa saying any prayer.
But then I'm in the Obiempra, but across the road, no more roadside, no more than the way I raise your money to be no more. This is someone far, I hadn't seen. me Jan because this me talk from the Jan family so. The Jan family so me so family pa. Me say ko he point me when they say science CD. Then say no say when I start say explode.
Okay. Thank you very much. What he's been saying ostensibly is that well, in terms of the casualty, he is unable to report of any casualty at the scene. At least those of them who were the police station attendants, nobody got hurt. But in rushing out of the place, the pandemonium, the scare, the fear, some people fell on the ground. But he cannot say that they have been affected by the explosion. It looked a very, very chaotic situation. But like I did say, the fire service has been able to put the fire at least under control a little bit. Apart from what you can see now, just a billowing fire from the gas tanker. It is yet to be put under control totally, Abu Isamoni.
Right. So, Commander Kruche, reporting from Atomic Junction, where we are being told reported gas leakage has caused an explosion at the gas filling station at Atomic Junction. Here in Accra, where a lot of people are injured, some vehicles have been burnt, students have escaped from their hostels, and we were speaking to an eyewitness in the studio, Kenneth Dankwa Smith. And Billy Anaglate is the PRO and from the Ghana National Fire Service, and Billy is on the phone. Good evening, Billy, and good to speak to you at this time. Hello, good evening, Mr. Anaglate. I'm sure Billy cannot hear us. Hello, good evening, Billy Anaglate, if you can hear us.
Good evening.
Good. Are you at the fire venue, the gas explosion at Atomic Junction? Are you right there?
Yes, I'm at the scene.
Right. So what assessment have you made and what can you tell us?
Come again?
What is your opinion on what has happened? What have you seen?
Well, as of now, we are still trying to battle with the tanker, the vehicle that has the gas in it that is still on fire. That is what we are trying to ensure, that we prevent it from exploding, because the fire is still on the tanker, and it is just in between a gas filling station and the petrol filling station. Because of the first explosion that had a lot of damage onto the petrol filling station and the gas filling station itself. But now we'll be able to confine the fire on the tanker itself that contains the gas. So that I think if we are able to sustain the cooling process, that would prevent it from exploding. But if this should explode, then I think that is where the danger will be. So we are trying to do everything possible to prevent it from exploding. So that is exactly what we are doing. We are doing a lot of cooling. We have about 7 fire engines here, and that are assisting in trying to prevent any explosion.
Right. We can see the tanker still burning in the shot on the screen right now. How long will it take to put this fire off?
Come again, your line is very faint.
Yeah, Mr. Anaglate, I was asking how long you think it will take to put the fire off from the tanker entirely, because we can see the tanker still burning, and we can see some of the blue lights from your fire tenders as well. So how long will it take to put the fire off?
That will be difficult for anybody to determine, because we can't determine the volume of gas that is in the tank. As long as it is coming from opening, and that we do not have access to ensure that we will be able to introduce our extinguishing medium into the tank itself, but only to allow the content to burn off whilst we prevent any explosion. We can't tell for now how long it will take us. And the way things are going, probably if really we have that large volume, because it's a very big tank, if that large volume of a gas really is in, then I think we'll continue doing this till tomorrow morning.
Having you been able to identify any human beings or property that have been lost entirely, or casualties as we put them?
For now, we'll be able to comb the whole area. We have not seen any dead body or anybody that has reported any casualties so far. So we can't, for now, say whether there's any casualty out of this incident. Maybe probably after we are able to finish extinguishing the fire on the tanker, then we'll be able to do the proper assessment and we can come out.
Right, so from where you stand right now, I mean, looking across the area, what can you tell us about the damage to property, businesses, and houses along the stretch?
Well, it is an extensive damage to the filling station close by. I'm talking of the petrol filling station. The roof and the wall have been ripped off, and the side wall has also been broken because of the explosion. We only thank God that the station itself was not involved in this fire. And if you look at it, there have been some of the vehicles, that were also parked close to it have also been, damaged. They've been burnt in this fire. And I'm here to do the counting and know the number of vehicles that have also been destroyed in this fire. So yes, it has really caused a certain extent of damage to the area and some of the facilities that are within the premise.
Right, William Aglate, we are grateful for your time. That's the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, and he is at the scene at the gas explosion at Atomic Junction here in Accra, where we understand a gas leakage has caused an explosion and burnt a gas filling station down, including a nearby filling station. And some hostels and some properties on the stretch have also been affected. Some vehicles caught in traffic have also been burned down. The owners have escaped. We have not, as at this moment, been able to confirm any death yet. But we will look at that situation. As soon as we're able to get more information on that, we will bring it. Now, let's come back to the studio and speak to Kenneth Dankwa-Smith. Kenneth is an eyewitness. He is a student. What are you studying at the university?
Sociology, information and communication, and then dance studies.
And dance?
Yeah.
So you make dance moves as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure that helped you to escape, Kenneth. Yeah. I mean, this is not a laughing situation, but I mean, on a more serious note, where do you come from, like in Ghana?
I come from Cape Coast in the Central region.
So I'm sure your people will be seeing you on television and they will be happy that you are still alive, Kenneth. So what do you think is missing on the campus? I mean, such a situation, I'm not sure you were expecting anything like that to happen. Is there anything that you think that the audience of the hostel can put up for your safety as students on that building?
Yeah, I think they should bring out fire service closer to the place. And then right now, because of the fire explosion, people have lost their items, like their phones. People threw their phone into the bushes just to run and all that. They've left their
So a lot
items.
of families will not be able to contact. Yeah. All right, that's good. And but I mean, have you seen like that powder can from the fire service that can be used to put fire off? Did you see anything like that in that building where you?
Yeah, there's a fire extinguisher in there.
There is an extinguisher. Only one?
Every hall has one.
Every hall has one.
Every floor, actually.
But this is seriously not a canister matter, is it?
Yeah.
All right, Duncan, we are grateful for it. I'm sure we'll be looking forward to speaking to you after today. You look a bit traumatized. What were you afraid of?
To lose my life and also to lose my family because they mean a great thing to me, especially my mom and my dad. They've actually invested a lot into my education and I'm very grateful for that. And then I'm very appreciative that I'm leaving and I would make them proud in the nearby future.
So will you go back to your district
right now?
Tonight?
I'll not be sure I'll be able to go.
You are not going back?
Till I get the feedback.
All right. Right. This is TV3 breaking news, and we're bringing you the coverage of the gas leakage, which has caused an explosion at the gas.
The first thing which comes to mind is that this must stop. And all of us, especially those of us in positions where we have work to do, must get to go to work to get these things resolved. I have heard from students, I've spoken to my colleagues, a few CEOs, that we need to go back and look at the standard that this country has for citing these things and how they are implemented. We at the Standards Authority work very closely with the National Petroleum Authority. And immediately what we are saying is that let us review every single statute we have. Let us make sure that Ghanaians feel safe and feel protected. We shouldn't wait for another one to happen, and we will not wait for another one to happen. Our president promised change to Ghanaians, and it's critical and extremely important that we all just get to work and get going. So I'm on my way to the place with a few other CEOs to be sure that we're on the scene to see what can be done for now to prevent or protect lives, but importantly, very importantly, to see what can be done to make sure this does not happen again. It is worrying, it's distressing, and it's not what Ghanaians want. And we have a responsibility as government to ensure that this is resolved.
Prof, I agree with you. This must stop, but it's entirely out of the hands of ordinary citizens of this country. And they are exactly the people who suffer when these things happen. What can be done? Is it from the top or from the bottom to stop this thing?
There are two ways. I think the ordinary citizens have a right, a legitimate right, to be worried. When Ghanaians pay their taxes, they pay their taxes to be safe. And I can assure you, and you've all heard and seen what our president does. He believes in solving the problem. He doesn't believe in we bringing the problems. He always says, I want solutions. We, the chief executive officers of the responsible agencies, have a job to do. We cannot go back to the past and say, well, it's always like that. It is not. And we are going to work now to make sure this does not happen again. It's a lot of work on all of us. You cannot blame the ordinary person. It's on us in government. This is not a time for blame, game, or anything. There have been issues in this country which have been festering for long. Now is the time to solve it, and we are showing our commitment that it's unacceptable. We are going to review everything. Every single Ghanaian will feel the pain, because it's about time we enforce the rules that our forefathers have entrenched in this country to make sure citizens are protected. This has been scary. We yet do not know the number of lives lost. If there are no lives lost, it will be a miracle, but not because of design. But please, as Ghanaians, let us all agree to stay under the rule of law to ensure that we are protected. If the siting of fuel stations are too close to residential places, we will demand that they are removed. And please, let no one go and beg the president or a chief or a priest. It's about lives.
Yeah.
It's about lives.
Absolutely.
Prof, again.
Yes, you're Director General of Ghana Standards Authority. Fuel station situated next to a gas filling station. What can you do about it?
Between the Ghana Standards Authority and the National Petroleum Authority and the local authorities, the laws are clear. Let us enforce them. And please, we beg, as we enforce the laws, let no one beg. So we have a job to do. And once again, I will say we are not shying away from our responsibilities or laying blame. Once you're in power, when there's a problem, it's your issue. It's your problem, we solve it. So we are not saying we are innocent. We are saying that Standards Authority, NPA, and other agencies, this is our problem, and we have to fix it. And we will, God willing, fix it.
Thank you, Professor Asiedu-Dartey is the Director General of Ghana Standards Authority. We've been speaking to him on the gas explosion at Atomic Junction. Prof, we're grateful for your time and your contribution. We will get back and speak to you again about the situation, how fuel filling stations and gas stations are situated almost closer together. Well, my colleague Alfred Okanse, we've been speaking to him the whole evening. You saw, you conquered, and you are back to the studio. Alfred, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, your
initial observation. Who told you about it?
Well, I am in school at the University of Professional Studies, and so lectures ended at 7 p.m. I drove out, heading towards Madina Zongo Junction, and I bought fuel at the Goil filling station, that's at the UPS junction on the Legon Road. I turned and I realized the first blast, I experienced it because the vehicles that were turning, those heading towards Zongo Junction, started turning on the same stretch of road that's heading towards. So they were now coming in front of us.
Yeah, they were facing you.
Okay, so then I got curious. Obviously, for us, we would need to, the querying instincts in us would want to find out what's happening.
To confront and find out what is that.
I went a little closer. Then I realized the people started shouting, there's a gas explosion, it's a gas filling station that is about to explode, because the fire started on a small scale.
So it didn't blast out
absolutely
at once?
If it had blasted absolutely, then there would be more casualties than what we are seeing now.
Okay.
And I must commend the trotro drivers who were stuck. You know, that particular area, mostly there's traffic. The runabout beneath the overpass.
Absolutely.
Around the Atomic Junction.
I mean, you can see traffic from Agbogba, Botanical Gardens, all heading towards the runabout, from Medina, UPS.
Precisely.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And then it goes into Okanse Junction, around the Medina area. There's always traffic there. And it's a slow-moving traffic. So the people who realized the fire at the gas station early began to sound the alert. So people had to abandon their cars. And I must say that there is a taxi rank that's closer to that gas filling station. About 12 taxis. When I got closer, I counted 12. Because of the heat of the fire, I couldn't stay there for long. But I counted 12 taxis that have been burned to ashes. And a number of private cars. Absolutely. A number of private cars also were abandoned.
You were talking about casualties. Did you see any human beings?
For now, I interacted with the fire service a few minutes before I left the place. We cannot tell for now if there's been any casualties as yet. But with the extent of the fire, as I saw it, and the extent of spread, I must say the fire started at what speed?
Did you see it approaching?
It was approaching with the speed of the wind, because it is the wind that was literally fueling the spread of the fire.
Of the fire, absolutely.
So at the Atomic Junction, when I turned, thinking that if I come and park at the University of Ghana Business School car park, I'll be safe, I realized the fire was literally following me
to that place.
To that place. Then I moved back to UPSA. And the fire...
You were still driving?
I was still driving. Not on foot.
Yeah.
And the fire continued through to Presec Legon. If I do not want to sound too sensational, and I'm being very cautious, because our work at the moment is just to tone down the fear and the panic in the atmosphere right now. But a larger part of the Legon Presec has been affected by this fire outbreak there. Some of the students were there studying, others were asleep. And this happened. And you know that their dining hall also had some cylinders as well. So that obviously would influence or fuel this fire outbreak. It spread to the UPSA, because you see, the large part of the area there is full of vegetation. A part of the Legon Presec compound or the land area is full of a lot of vegetation through to the the UPSA area. And so when some students at UPSA had just finished their lectures, they also had to run out. The sad thing though is that I saw a lot of people being run over by vehicles because of the stampede that this created. Because people in their vehicles had to alight. A lot of the trotro drivers actually abandoned their vehicles. And a lot of the private drivers also, private car vehicles also abandoned their vehicles. And were running towards the Trinity Theological Seminary area, heading towards East Legon.
East Legon, absolutely.
So people who were driving now, also on top speed, were knocking people down. And I am just using this opportunity to caution people, and indeed, as we sounded the caution earlier on, that those who are driving at the moment, there's been a diversion through to the underpass around the one that connects the Sprintex Road to East Legon, into the area there. I would plead with people who are driving and can give others a helping hand, as in a lift, to do so. When I got out of the area, whilst reporting, because I had to get a full complement of the situation, I appeared on the Spintex Road, because a lot of the people who were running were going towards the Spintex Road. And Isa, you would not blame people who assumed that the fire could spread to a larger extent, because the fire was spreading very fast.
Right.
So
Alfred,
people had to run all the way.
We'll come back to that point, and then you will tell us how you escaped from that, because like we say in Chinkwa, I know it's not an easy situation. But you know, sure we've been joined by 2 other students from Presec who also you know, were evacuated. I can see your shirts are stained, and
is that these students?
Yes.
I picked them.
So Alfred, you tell me, how did you come into contact with them?
I got onto the Spintex Road, and then I saw a number
First,
of them.
let's introduce. There's Nuku Kofi. You are Nuku Kofi, right? Nuku Kofi, and you are Ohine. All right, Ohine. Well, thank you for agreeing to come to TV3. I'm sure your parents are watching you. And your friends. Alfred, so you, as you were telling us, how did you come into?
They walked all the way from the Presec campus, because fortunately the majority of them were evacuated. We'll probably want to find out from them if there were as many students that were evacuated. But if the authorities of Presec are watching and they can get through and allay the fears of the parents that the students are safe, that would be good, because I saw a number of them running out of the campus, the back gate that leads to the road in front of the Vice Chancellor's building, the UPSO hostel. A lot of them use the back door because of the back gate. And some of them use the frontage where the fire was approaching.
All right.
And that's how
how did you escape from this fire?
We were.
Who told you about the fire in the first place?
To be honest, I had no idea about the fire.
So you were just running?
We were at assembly in this evening. Then we heard a loud explosion. Then we all started running. It was chaos. I'm sure there was a stampede. People,
you didn't know what it was?
I didn't. We just saw fire.
You saw the fire?
Yes. So we just ran. So when we got out of the assembly hall, we thought we were safe. But apparently it was still coming. So we kept running. And on our way...
Where were you heading?
We had no...
You had no direction?
Yeah.
You were just running?
Yes, we were just running. So we kept running. Then when we got to another... We got far from the school. There was another explosion. It nearly touched a few people. So we got out. Then it was still chaos. We didn't know what to do. But luckily we met.
Alfred.
Yes.
Okay, Nuku Kofi, what was your situation like?
Well, I was sitting at the front of the audience when we were having the meeting at the assembly hall. Then the explosion happened. I could see some red lights coming from my right side.
You saw the red lights?
So everyone started rushing out. So when we got to where there are some trees, something told me that we should just keep on running, because you don't know what might happen. So as we were still running, then we had another loud explosion, which you could feel the heat behind us. So we ran out the front. We ran through the back door. Then we kept on running until we met Alfred.
Wow. So you met Alfred. So Alfred, what happened from that point?
At that
you
moment,
picked them to your vehicle?
I put them to my vehicle, because there were a lot, about 20 of them. Fortunately, I was able to get through to some of them, their parents, because they could recall their numbers. So they used my phone to call their parents. Yes. And their parents, some of them have been taken home by their parents. Some other persons whom I appealed to them to help have also been able to take some of the students away. I spent some time trying to get them mobilized at there's a supermarket around the area.
Away from the fire.
Away from the fire. That's on the Spintex Road. These kids ran all the way from Presec, and I met them on the Spintex Road. So I mobilized them, about 20 of them, and then we tried to get help. I know some of them have also gathered at the Action Chapel premises. Yes. Some of them ran on the N1 highway. I had to go there and also mobilize some of them at the Talo building area. I'm just saying this so that if anybody meets any Presec student or anybody who needs help as a result of business is running, they could just offer a helping hand. We cannot do this alone. And so for now, this is what's happening. And they were really shaken with fear, and rightly so, because they saw the fire. They came first hand with the fire explosion. And thankfully they are here. Their parents can heave a sigh of relief that their kids, their wards are safe. But let's just reiterate again, the information I'm getting from the ground is that the fire service is keeping the situation under control. But as Ghanaians, some would want to be very inquisitive and always want to be unnecessarily daring.
Get closer to
people are getting close and wanting to find out what's happening. And because of the overwhelming nature of the crowd, if the police is also listening, they can send reinforcement to control the crowd. At least from what I saw when I left, maybe the situation might have improved. But this is it. So
let me find. Have you been able to call your parents?
Yeah, I called my mom.
You called your mom?
Yeah.
And what did you tell her?
I told her I was okay and that she shouldn't try going.
Did she know about the explosion at that time?
No, she didn't.
She didn't know about it?
No.
How about you, Nuku?
I don't think she knew. How she
You also spoke to your mom?
Yeah.
But she didn't know about the fire there?
I'm not sure about how she was speaking. I didn't think she knew.
You didn't tell her you were in trouble?
I told her that, but before I started, I didn't think that she knew about what was going on.
So viewers, we're speaking to students from Presec. They were evacuated from their campus affected by the gas explosion at the atomic junction. So what's going to happen this evening? Are you going to go back to your...
No, I think thankfully TV3 has offered to keep them here till tomorrow morning, when their parents can come and pick them up. That's one little thing we can do to do. But you see, this is where, just as you were asking Professor Dodo, is that we've had a number of these gas explosions. Maybe, unfortunately, it has to take the severity of this one to cause us to wake up to take drastic decisions.
Yeah, right.
The latest was the one at the trade fair, where about 3 or 4 people died, 9 or so.
Yeah.
Then it followed up with what happened in Takrady in the Western region.
Yeah.
Nothing really was heard about it. We have been here. We've had a number of these cases of fire outbreaks as a result of a gas explosion located in a residential area close to a filling station. Did we have to wait for a disaster like this for us to begin to talk, because the fire has spread to various areas and possibly the extent of damage is huge, and maybe the casualties, I'm praying, may not be, because come on, we are just talking about floods a few days ago.
Absolutely.
What real lessons have we learned from the June 3 fire and flood disaster? Well, we need to be able, you see, this is where
I know.
we are the vanguard of the conscience of the people.
I agree with a lot of the points you're raising, and I'm sure Duncan Namwa has also raised similar concerns, Bila Naglate, and of course Professor Ododu.
Bila Naglate, what exactly would Bila Naglate be saying at this moment? It is the fire service.
It is his
I remember
right now to put the fire off.
I recall the last time I spoke to Bliana Glate was a fire, a filling station that was located right behind UPSA. It shares a building with a campus.
I'm sure we will bring Bliana Glate to the studio to face you one-on-one. Then probably we can get all these questions. But I promise about 5 questions. I'll send them to you to put it before Billy. And viewers, you're watching TV3's coverage of the gas explosion at Atomic Junction here in Accra. We understand there's been a lot of injuries. Some students have escaped from their hostels from UPS and also from hostels from the University of Ghana Business School as well. We've spoken to a number of people. We're grateful to everybody who has contributed for this live coverage of the gas explosion at the Atomic Junction. There will be more on News at 10 with Nana Bright Amfo, and I'm sure the coverage will continue. And also the students from Presec, Samuel Ohinidakon and Nuku Kofi, and TV3 will be keeping you here. At least this place is safer than we don't know where you will go absolutely from here. So it's good that you're here. I'm sure your parents are seeing you, and everybody will feel comfortable with that. And thank you all for watching this coverage. We will continue with more on News at 10 with Nana Bright.